And we've got special coverage here on SNY. Gary Apple inside Studio 41 here in New York City alongside Todd Zeal. And in so many ways, this is a bittersweet day for the New York Mets. We're scheduled to open the 2021 baseball season down in the nation's capital later this evening. That game is not going to be played tonight. It has been postponed because of COVID precautions on the national side. No word yet on when the Mets are going to begin the season. We are awaiting word on that. On the flip side, big news coming out late last night that Francisco Lindor and the Mets have agreed on a 10-year, $341 million contract extension. So that is extremely significant as the Mets get set to open up this 2021 season. We are going to hear from Francisco Lindor in just a matter of moments. Before we do that, Todd Zeal, the significance of this for the franchise and for Lindor.
I think it's a big deal for both. And I think that, you know, the thing that's interesting about this one is going into the last couple of days, there was a great offer made by the Mets. There was still trepidation about whether or not Lindor would take that offer or ask for something in return. It seemed to get a little bit silent. There was a little pessimism. And I think some of the Mets fans out there might have been thinking, okay, this is a Mets thing, that here we go again, and they didn't want that to happen. So I think the fact that they came together, got a deal that's a great deal for both the club and Lindor is also speaks volume for the new culture that is, I think, being formed here with Steve Cohen at the helm.
I would agree. This was a message sent across the bow that without question things are different now. As we get a look right here, richest contracts in Major League Baseball history. Mike Trout sitting atop that list, then Mookie Betts, and there's Francisco Lindor, who got $1 million more than Fernando Tatis Jr. Do you think that is by coincidence right there, Tom?
Oh, no, the 341 did seem a little peculiar, but now it makes a lot of sense.
And it certainly does. Richest contract in the history of the New York Mets by a long shot. David Wright, 8 years, $138 million, was second, and then Jacob deGrom, 5 years, $137.5 million, third on that list. So, as you say, this is the signal of a new dawn, a new age in New York Mets history. Lindor to this team brings what, both on and off the field?
Look, I was about to do a nice breakdown for opening day here and talk about all the tools that he brings, but he brings more than his skill set on the field. I think that's one of the things that the Mets saw in him. He immediately went into the clubhouse in spring training and started exercising his leadership. He's got a great, outward sort of infectious, as we call it, personality. He's got a smile on his face all the time, but he also knows how to win. It's a guy that over in Cleveland kind of went under the radar at times because they're not a major market team, but he figured out that he's a great player. He's great on both sides of the ball, and he has a great attitude and ability to find ways to win. I think that's something that will also come in handy as he really works with this young core of guys that is so good but still has a lot of growing to do. I think he's a guy that could lead that force in the next years to come.
When you tack on the $22.3 million that Lindor is scheduled to make this season and put it atop the $341 million, that comes out to $363 million. And a little bit more than that, 0.3, which is extremely significant when you look at a guy who's going to be in a Mets uniform, barring anything unforeseen, till he's 38 years old. How important was this to get done from the standpoint that if he had turned down $325 million over 10 years, you've got to imagine the fan base would have been pretty unhappy with that. So from that standpoint, the significance of getting this done before the season begins.
Yeah, I think there was definitely risk associated to both sides in this, because at one point, Steve Cohen comes in and says, hey, he wants to kind of change the culture here. He's going to go aggressively after the big free agents. He doesn't want to spend like a drunken sailor and frivolously. So they made a great bid at Trevor Bauer, but this is the important one.
All right, let's hear from Francisco Lindor right now.
All yours.
Well, first of all, I want to thank my Savior, Jesus Christ, for keeping me healthy, for surrounding me with an amount of great people every single day of my life, for putting the right people in front of me to open the next door as my journey continues. And I want to thank Steve, Alex Cohen, for believing in me, for believing in my family, that we're going to represent you guys' organization the correct way. I'm honored, I'm blessed, I'm humble by this opportunity to be in this organization for the next 11 years. It's an honor, it's a privilege to wear blue and orange. I'm so excited. I'm pumped. And like I said, I'm honored, I'm humble. So thank you to Steve and Alex for believing in me since the day you guys traded for me. And I can't wait to continue this relationship that we have and cherish it every single day and represent you guys' organization the right way. I want to thank all my previous coaches, teammates, the organization of Cleveland and the fans in Cleveland, because you guys push me every single day to be the best I can be. So thank you guys for all of that. And my family, my sisters, my mom, my dad. Wow, you guys shaped me into the man that I am today. And this is a dream. This is a dream. I'm super happy to have you guys, to call you mom, to call you dad. Papi, mami, lo amo, mi hermana, I love you guys. Mi hermano, my cousin, my niece's nephew, I love you guys. Thank you for sticking with me every single day. My agent, David, he did an outstanding job throughout this whole period. Not just this year, but the past 8-10 years that we've been actually negotiating and doing things. And I'm super proud of you, David and Danielle, for the work you guys have done. And last but not least, my fiance, Katia, thank you for sitting next to me and keeping me humble, keeping me relaxed, calm, and for raising our beautiful daughter. Thank you. I wish you were here. I wish my whole entire family was here. Lo amo. And to the fans in New York, here we go, baby. Here we go. We have 11 years together. I can't wait. Can't wait to be in Citi Field. I can't wait to represent you guys' organization. And can't wait to, God willing, we bring championships to the city.
Francisco, thank you very much. A couple of reminders. I know we have a number of hands raised. So for the benefit of all of our audiences watching at home, once you're called upon, please state your name and affiliation. And we'll kick things off with Steve Gelbs. Steve, your mic is open.
Hey, Francisco, Steve Gelbs from SNY. Congratulations. You know, very few people will ever know what it feels like to sign that type of a contract. So what is it that goes through your mind, that went through your mind when you finally agreed to the terms last night?
A dream come true, a humble experience. I wanted to yell, I wanted to scream as loud as I could. But I was in a hotel room, stuck in the hotel room, so I couldn't scream. And the way my agent, David Mita, and Sandy Anderson negotiated, it was outstanding. So thank you, Sandy, for the way you represent the organization. It was fun.
You know, you spoke right when you came over about wanting to get a feel for the organization before committing to anything. Obviously, the money is one thing, a very important element, but what else was it about this organization, what you've experienced over the last couple of months, that made you feel fully comfortable to commit to this team for perhaps the remainder of your career?
First of all, the group of guys and girls that we have in the clubhouse on a daily basis, that they're committed to winning. They want to win. They're hungry. They want to improve. They want to get better every single day. And that, to me, says a lot, that we are in a position that, yes, we have a good team, but they want to get better. They want to continue to improve, to bring that championship, and not just one, to continue and carry on and continue to win more and more. That, to me, that's what I look in a franchise. I look in a franchise that wants to win, wants to get better, and have a lot of guys and girls that are class act, you know, and that starts from the top. and I was happy. I felt comfortable. I know I haven't been to New York, but the guys, the boys, they made me feel comfortable around them. They made me a part of what they have in the clubhouse, and I love that. I love the opportunity that I have to bring a championship to the city, Queens. So I'm very excited, and the most beautiful thing about it, it's that everyone wants to do it, and we all right next to each other, and we all striving forward.
Thank you, Francisco. Your next question will come from Mike Puma. Your line's open, Mike.
Francisco, how much did you think? Can you describe that dinner I guess you had with Steve last weekend in Florida, and how much you think that helped in bringing the deal together?
It helped a lot. It helped a lot because obviously we got a sense of where we both were. I never drew a line in the sand. The offer that was out there that people were saying, we threw the number, but that wasn't a line in the sand, and he gave us a sense of where we were to Steve, and he gave us a sense of where he was. He's all about winning, and I think we won. We won with this, with both sides are happy, are in a good and friendly zone, and I can't wait, like he said, to be stuck to his hip for the next 10 years or 11 years.
Also, what did you think the other day of Pete Alonso saying you should get $400 million?
I thank him. I thank him because he didn't have to go out there and say that, and to say in front of people, that's special. It takes a lot of courage, and I thank him for that. I thank him for his kind words, and his turn will come, and he's gonna get a lot. He's gonna get a lot of money, but most importantly, not because how good he is on the field, but he's a great person, and that speaks a lot more than any award on the field.
Tim Healy, your line is open.
Hey, Francisco, Tim Healy from Newsday. Could you take us through, I guess, perhaps the negotiations or how your optimism might have gone up and down throughout the course of the past 4 or 5 days?
Tim, I said it earlier that I'm very reservative with how I talk numbers to the people. My camp, me and Davey Meter, we keep things very, very tight. But I was very optimistic that we were going to get a deal done. I knew Steve wanted it. I knew Sandy wanted it. I wanted it. Davey wanted it. So I knew something was going to happen. It was just a matter of getting to that sweet spot. And, for them to feel comfortable and for me and my family to feel comfortable. There was numbers thrown out there. There was years thrown out there. But from my part, you would never really hear every detail of the negotiation. That's not how I do things. I hope you guys understand that. The numbers that you guys see there, I'll say yes. But I won't go through every detail of the negotiation.
Sure. And it perhaps relatedly, how much did it mean to you to get that biggest contract for a shortstop?
It meant a lot more that I was in a great city with a great group of people, great owners, and that my family feels comfortable. I said that earlier. It's where my family feels the most comfortable. And my fiance, she's a little bit nervous about New York, but she's comfortable. And that to me, that means the world. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going by myself. So it's a good thing that she's feeling comfortable. And when it comes to how big the contract is, I'm blessed, I'm honored, and props to David Meter for getting me up there.
Next up is Disha Thozar. Your line is open.
Hey, Francisco. I guess how much were you wondering or how much were you worried what the impact would be on the Mets fan base this season if you didn't close the deal before opening day?
Definitely had the fans in mind when it comes to I want to be in New York. I want them to embrace me. I want to embrace them. But it was going to come down to what was best for the organization and what was best for me, you know. We play for the fans. We perform for the fans. This is a show that we do for them on a daily basis. I wasn't really thinking about what is going to happen if I don't sign with the fans. You know what I'm saying? I was just going to go out there and give it my best on the 162 season. And hopefully at the end of the year, that was good enough for them.
And then how much did you pay attention, if at all, to Steve Cohen kind of tweeting out his thoughts during the process? And did that affect your negotiations at all from your side?
The crowdsourced one, that was funny. That was a funny one. I told him at dinner. The other ones, at that point, I already shut down my phone and everything on social media. So I didn't really care too much for it because at that point, it's like, all right, are we going to get this done or not?
Anthony DiComo, your line is open.
Hey, Francisco, congratulations. You're going to be a Met now until you're 38 years old. What kind of player do you think you'll be when you're 38 years old? I mean, what is the kind of the concept in your mind of that far off in the future?
I'll be a bad mother effer. That's it. That's all I got to tell you, Anthony.
Fair enough. Following up on Disha's question about Steve Cohen, he tweeted that the ravioli wasn't very good. I guess, how was your chicken parm?
Mine was great. My chicken parm was really good, but I guess him and my agent are both from New York, so they have a better taste about Italian food. My chicken parm was great. I had a good dinner.
Let's go next to Dave Lennon. Dave, your line's open.
Hi, Francisco. Just can you explain the range of emotions for yourself to go from as excited as you were last night to get this deal done to not be able to take the field today with the rest of your teammates? I have to think that was an incredible swing because you had to have been so charged up to play today, especially after the news from last night.
Dave, man, I was bummed. I was bummed out because I wanted this one. I wanted to play. I know we're gonna have an opening day. I know we will. It's just a matter of when. And for us, the position player is not as bad, but for the pitching staff, it kind of sucks because they've been preparing themselves. They pitch every 5 days. They've been preparing for this day and then tomorrow and then on and on. And then them not getting the ball today, DeGrom not getting the ball today, and Stroman the next day, it kind of sucks. I wanted to see some jets flying over me today. I want to see some flags on the field, and I want to see some fans, man. I want to see some fans. So I was bummed out for sure.
And just, Francisco, when you have that number next to your name, 341, I mean, does it make you feel more like kind of a Superman? Does it give you something extra? I mean, just because it's such a remarkable number, I was just wondering, not only does it add pressure, but does it add anything more to how you kind of feel about your game when you see that?
Davey, a lot of pride. I'm very proud of my game, and this right here, this logo right here means a lot. And I got to go out there every single day and defend it and play as hard as I can for what I have in my chest. That's what it means. That number next to me, that's what it means. Those are $341 million reasons for me to go out there and play the game the right way.
Justin Toscano, we'll go to you next. Your line's open.
Hey, Francisco, good to see you. You mentioned kind of the conversations you had to have with your family. When an offer of that magnitude and that length goes on the table, what sorts of conversations do you have with your fiance, with your family?
My fiance and my sister, they were the two that were there the most, that were talking to me the most. And they both said, at this point, we're proud of you. Whatever decision you make, we stand by you. And my fiance, Katia, she was just like, relax. Things are going to happen for a reason. If God has a plan, my sister kept on saying that if God has a plan, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And just know that the decision that you make, we stand by you. And that gave me peace of mind. That gave me peace of mind because I knew no matter what decision I made, whether it was staying here or walking away from that amount of money and going to free agency, that we're going to stand by me. And that to me means the world. So thank you, Katia. Thank you, Legna, Carmelo, my cousin, my dad, everybody, and my agent especially.
And as I'm sure you know, you've got a lot of kids around the world, you know, Cleveland, New York, everywhere else that want to be like you when they grow up. What's your message to people like that who want to achieve their dreams in the same way you did?
It is possible. It is possible. A little kid from Puerto Rico that wasn't the best in school, that wasn't the most fluent talking, that came to the States not knowing the language, that stayed in a hotel with his stepmom, his dad, his stepsister, and his little sister in one hotel room with just a microwave. Look where I am today. And that's not me. And has been the Lord that was standing by me. And all the advice I got from the past years, you know, just listen, put your head down, work. And when you look up, the finish line will be a lot closer. And not that I'm in my finish line, but I'm closer to it for sure.
Great. Natalie Alonso, we'll come to you next. Your line is open.
Saludos, Francisco. Felicidades. Tú habías dicho que no querías ya negociar después de que empezara la temporada. ¿Qué tanto es un alivio para ti ya empezar a jugar y saber que ya esto está resuelto?
Es un gran alivio, Natalia, de verdad, porque pues, ya sé que voy a estar aquí con los Mets de Nueva York por los próximos 11 años. Tengo un hogar donde sé que voy a estar ahí por mucho tiempo y saber que la organización me valora y me respeta para darme esta cantidad, para mí me llena de orgullo, me llena de humildad y me hace sentir sumamente bien y tranquilo. Obviamente, pues ya estoy en una posición de mi carrera que ahora es enfocarse en ganar.
Thank you, Francisco. Next up, let's go to Tim Britton. Tim, go ahead.
Hey, Francisco, it's Tim Britton with The Athletic. You mentioned being in the hotel last night and wanting to scream. A lot of the traditional ways of celebrating are closed off to you. What did you do to celebrate afterward last night?
I stayed in my room. I called a few of my friends, let them know that it was real. First of all, I called my fiance, I called Katia. Then I called my sister. She was sleeping already, so I couldn't talk to her. And I called my dad, talked to him and my cousin. Then I called my best friend, and then I called Roberto Perez. I woke him up, and that was pretty much it, you know. And then Nito, I talked to Nito. I texted with a bunch of the guys. Just stay in the room. I'm not much of a drinker, so I didn't drink. Yeah, man, I wish I would have screamed. I screamed a little bit, but I wish I was in my house where I could jump in the pool or hug everybody, kiss everybody. You know, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm happy.
But was there anyone who reached out to you that you've heard from today that's especially meaningful?
That I haven't talked to in a while, or just anybody in general?
Anyone in general.
I talked to Maldonado last night in Korea. Talked to Donovan Mitchell today, actually yesterday and today. And then teammates, that Brantley, it's special for me. I talk to him, via text messages and stuff like that. It's just, those are special. People bias, I've talked to a lot of people, a lot of text messages. Like I said, I've been closed off in my room. So I have my phone in my hand the whole entire time.
Mike Vaccaro, we'll come to you. Your line's open.
Hi, Francisco. Mike Vaccaro, New York Post. You've played a bunch of important games against the Yankees in New York City. What is your sense of what the energy is like playing in the city? I mean, from having done it, now you're on the other side then, but do you remember telling yourself that's something you might like to be a part of sometime?
Mike, they're very loud. They're very loud, and I noticed a little bit that I asked one time, why is it louder now in the third, fourth, fifth? And somebody told me it's like because of traffic. They don't make it in time at times. And then it just gets louder and louder as the game goes on, which makes it fun. So that's my experience in New York. I'm looking forward to it. One thing I did understand through this whole process was there are a lot of fans in New York that are educated when it comes to negotiations and understanding the game. So I'm excited.
Veronica Contreras, your line is open.
Verónica Contreras from Telemundo. Francisco, felicidades.
Gracias, Verónica.
A ver, háblame. El momento tan esperado, ¿no? Querías ese contrato a largo plazo, finalmente se llega a un acuerdo y justo hoy no puedes jugar. El coronavirus sigue afectando el béisbol.
Sí, Verónica, pues un sueño hecho realidad, poder conseguir el contrato a largo plazo y estar seguro de que ya tengo una casa en Nueva York y voy a estar ahí por muchísimo tiempo, gracias al Señor. Y levantarme no sabía que no íbamos a jugar. Estaba ya en game mode, estaba ready para jugar y de momento me escribe alguien por WhatsApp y me dicen, ¿van a jugar hoy? No sabía qué estaba sucediendo. Como a 10 minutos pues veo en las noticias que alguien había salido positivo en el lado de los Nationals y pues llamé al dirigente y me dijo que sí, que el juego se va a cancelar en el día de hoy. Triste la noticia. Espero que ellos estén bien, definitivamente, que tengan salud, que todo les salga bien a ellos como sus familiares. Y pues esperemos que nosotros podamos jugar el juego que más amamos en los próximos días.
¿Qué mensaje le das a todos los aficionados de los Mets, especialmente a esos latinos, ¿no? Los boricuas que siempre van a estar apoyando, de que ahora saben que vas a estar con su equipo por los próximos 11 años?
Gracias por el apoyo que me han brindado hasta ahora en este cortito tiempo. Estoy entusiasmado para estar con ustedes por los próximos 11 años, con el favor de Dios. Les voy a dar todo lo que tengo en mi juego, mi pasión, la pasión boricua, la latina, que es sumamente grande. Y pues esperemos ganar varios campeonatos con el favor de Dios para poder caminar en las ciudades de Nueva York y decir que nosotros somos la mejor organización que hay.
And let's go next to The Voice. Howie Rose, you are up next.
Hi, Francisco. Howie Rose with Mets Radio. First off, congratulations. I had read recently where you strongly prefer to be called Francisco as opposed to Frankie, the way a lot of other broadcasters have referred to you. Is that accurate? Do you mind being called Frankie, or is that off limits?
Yeah, no, I prefer Francisco. I think I like my name, and Frankie, it's a little bit more Americanized for me. But I mean, Frankie, it was fine. I'd never complained, so there's no excuses because I never complained in years past. But now I want my name. I want Francisco. My mama named me Francisco. My grandpa was Francisco, so Francisco it is, guys. It is what it is.
You got it. It's a deal.
So I never complain. So it is what it is.
All right. You're Francisco on the radio as far as we're concerned.
Thank you.
You also mentioned that, it was a little challenge, even though you'd come to Florida after leaving Puerto Rico, learning the language. And Pedro Martinez gave a lot of credit to a guy you might know who's a part-time coach in spring training with the Mets, Guy Conti, that Guy's wife was very instrumental in helping Pedro learn the English language, and particularly how to answer questions from reporters and the things that you do now so easily. Was there anyone like that who served that same purpose for you that you recall? In pro ball?
Not in pro ball. I already knew the language by then because I went to middle school, 1 year in middle school, and then my years in high school. So I had to learn the language in order for me to play the game that I loved. So in pro baseball, not really. In school, well, all the teachers, I have to thank them because they put up with me when it was a young little kid that didn't want to learn the language and was stubborn, that didn't want to listen to them because apparently didn't need the language to play the game that I love. But I thank them for putting up with me and making me realize that I do need English.
Okay, and finally, one last quick one. You'd mentioned your fiance being a little nervous or apprehensive about coming to New York. Where is she from?
Harry, she's also from Puerto Rico.
I'm sorry?
She's from Puerto Rico also.
Okay. Has she been to New York before?
She has, but it's a little fast. It's a little fast for her. She's very calm. She's very sweet and like mellow. So yeah, that's why the big city kind of scares her a little bit, but she says she's fine. She's in New York right now and she's liking it so far.
Okay, thank you, Howie. Next up, let's go to the voice of NBC, Bruce Beck.
Francisco, Bruce Beck, NBC4 New York. Congratulations, first of all. Francisco, this type of contract comes with responsibility to your teammates, to the fans, to the city. Do you accept that responsibility and the pressure that comes with it?
Bruce, first of all, I love where you are right now. And then second of all, yeah, of course, Bruce, I'm excited to compete every single day with my teammates, go out there and win a lot of games, to hopefully, God willing, we bring a championship to the city. And at the end of the day, Bruce, whether it's $0 or the amount that I got to play the game the right way. The game is played the right way no matter where you are. Whether you are 10 years old and you're not getting paid, or you're 40 years old and you're getting a lot of money. I got to respect my teammate, respect my people around me, respect the clubhouse, respect the game, and respect the name in the front of my jersey.
I'm actually at Yankee Stadium now, Francisco. My question to you is: you look forward to the rivalry that is between the two teams in the same city? Yeah. I look forward to the Subway City. That's what they call it, right? Subway City. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to playing against my best friend, Gio Urshela. So I'm excited for that. And I'm just excited to be part of the New York Mets organization.
Eddie Coleman, coming to you. Your line is open.
Hey, Francisco, Ed Coleman, Mets Radio. Congratulations. You haven't been with your new teammates for a very long period of time, but obviously you've had a big impact in a short time. Were you pleased with the way they kind of fell behind you and urged the team to sign you?
First of all, thanks, Ed. And they a great group of guys. They're humble. They compete every single day. It's fun to be in this clubhouse every single day, and seeing them how they work and how they want to get better. It has helped me to be better on my game. So I couldn't be more excited to play with them the whole year and many more years to come.
Hey, and we'll stay with Mets Radio. Wayne Randazzo, your line is open.
Hey, Francisco, you mentioned your dad briefly. I know he's tough on you, and he's encouraged you and challenged you. What was his reaction to the contract, and do you expect him to ease up maybe a little bit and maybe not give you such a hard time?
I doubt it, man. So I called him. He was happy, he was ecstatic, and I told him I wanted to scream, and he said, no, don't scream. I'm like, Pops, what are you talking about? I'm like, you know when you drive down the highway and you see the billboard with the Powerball that says $300 million? Imagine you getting that right now. You're going to tell me you're not going to scream. I'm going to scream. I want to scream, you know? Obviously, I've been working for this my whole entire life. It wasn't like I picked out a number and I got it, but I'm still humble. I'm still excited. It's a blessing, and I don't think my dad will ease up, and I don't want him to ease up. You know, that keeps me grounded, that keeps me humble, keeps me respecting everybody, and keeps me playing the game as hard as I can because I want to prove him that I am a good baseball player.
You mentioned the number at 341. You're just got 1 million more than what Fernando Tatis Jr. got from the Padres. Why was it important for you to set the benchmark for shortstops and to go even just slightly above Tatis?
At that point, man, I was just happy that my agent was continuing to get more and more and more and more. You know, it was just, and Tatis is a great player, and he got an outstanding contract, obviously. But deals are different, you know, and it was a different deal, completely different. So I was just happy that my agent called me. He's like, hey, 341, how does that sound? Now I'm like, all right, man. Hey, I mean, it sounds really good. Let's do it. He's like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, man, let's do it.
Dave Waldstein, your line is open.
Hi, Francisco. I'm wondering, you mentioned Correa and Baez, and there's a lot of shortstops that are going to be free agents next year. Did you feel like it was important to continue to keep that benchmark high for all the shortstops, not just you?
Of course, Dave. Of course. You know, players did it for me. They set up the path for me. And that's why I'm getting paid what I'm getting paid today, because other players set the mark for me, you know, set the path for me. You have the Pujols, you have the Machados, you have the Beltrans, you have players that, you know, that set up this market for me. And it's my turn. It is my turn to set up the market for the next players to come, and then they're gonna do it for somebody else behind them. You know, that's what it's all about.
Is it also? Oh, sorry.
Hoping the next one in line.
Is it also a relief? And do you feel like it'll take off some of the pressure for this upcoming season? Because if you hadn't signed, then maybe you're going to feel the need to put up great numbers in your free agent year.
The need of putting great numbers, that's there every year. Whether it was rookie season, sophomore season, third year, fourth, and on. I wanted to put good numbers to win. I want to win. So if I put good numbers, I give my team a chance to win. So it was going to be another year. It was obviously a big year because it was going to end up with no contract at the end of the year, you know. But there's a sense of urgency of putting the best numbers I can to help my team win. It's still going to happen. And it's going to happen next year and the following year and the following year. You know, it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop.
Jorge Figueroa, your line is open.
Francisco, Jorge Figueroa del periódico El Nuevo Día. Felicidades por el contrato.
Gracias, Robert.
Eres el puertorriqueño mejor pagado en la historia ahora con ese contrato. ¿Cómo te sientes al ver la historia de todos los puertorriqueños que han jugado antes de ti y los que están jugando contigo ahora con este contrato que has logrado?
Bueno, Jorge, es un honor y quiero decirle a Puerto Rico que lo logramos. Puerto Rico lo logramos. Estamos en alto, estamos en celebración. Y a todos los latinos, seguimos hacia adelante, no se quiten nunca. Esto es una bendición y esto es un pequeño granito de arroz que yo estoy tirando al mundo para decirle a los niños y al futuro que sí se puede hacer, que sí se puede lograr. Y puertorriqueño donde quiera que voy, hasta la luna, si algún día voy a la luna, ya grito que soy boricua.
Jake Steiner will come to you. Your line is open.
Hey, Francisco, congratulations, first of all. Piggybacking a little bit on Dave's question before about Correa and Baez and the other shortstops, I'm just curious, when you hear from those guys, is there any sense of friendly competition as you guys are all kind of coming through and have free agency coming up and are negotiating these deals?
The competition has always been there. Even in the WBC, we were all playing the same team. We were all competing, but at the same time, we were helping each other. You know, like you said, friendly competition games. Just talking to them congratulating me and telling me good luck this year, have fun, and me saying the same thing to them, it shows that we care about each other. You know, we want the best for all of us. And at the end of the day, it's them and their family members. You know, they work as hard as they can for their families, to provide for their families, and you can't wish bad on nobody, man. You can't wish bad on nobody. I don't care if that person is your worst enemy. You can't wish bad on that person. And I love those guys. I respect them, and I want them to be successful.
Are you going to be rooting for them to get 342 or more? Are you going to be rooting for them to get 342 or more?
I hope they get more. I hope they do what they do and get more, God willing.
Okay, we have time for a couple more. Raul Ramos, your line is open.
Felicidades, Francisco. Raúl Ramos de Por las Bases Llenas.
Gracias.
Sabemos de tu amistad con Gio Urshela y entonces existe siempre una rivalidad entre los Yankees y entre los Mets. ¿Hay algún friendly bet que vas a hacer con Gio?
Mi hermano, no se puede apostar en el juego. Los dueños pueden apostar y los front office, pero nosotros no podemos, porque no, mi hermano, nos vamos a meter en problemas, Raúl. No.
All right, we'll go final question. Rich Catino, your line is open. Rich, go ahead and unmute there.
Let's go!
All right, let's go to last one, Mark Roseman.
Hey, Francisco, congratulations. You know, there have been so many free agents that come to New York with such high expectations. There might not be any more with a personality suited than you. When you look at that and compare it to other markets you could have gone to, maybe with less pressure, why here and why put all that pressure on you? And at the end, what are your goals over these 11 years with this contract?
The pressure, it's only added if I want to add it to myself. Because at the end of the day, if I go out there and give it my best every single day, that's the pressure I should have, you know, of going out there and competing every single day as much as I can, you know. And why the Mets? Why not the Mets, man? Why not the Mets? That's the question. I'm excited to be at New York Mets. And it's going to be a special run. And my goal at the end of all of this is that we made this organization the greatest organization, and everybody wants to come play for the New York Mets.
Francisco, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Thank you to everybody else for joining us and for all those that were able to tune in and watch from home. So again, remain on this Zoom.
All right, so that is Francisco Lindor, 10 years, $341 million. I thought it was interesting there at the end, Todd Zeal. Why not the Mets?
Yeah,
right?
like
Why
that.
not the Mets? And I thought he talked about the fact of wanting to play for the NY on his chest. You played for the NY on your chest as a player, and you played for a lot of different teams.
Sure did.
Is there a pride that goes along with that, especially when you sign a contract of this significance?
Well, I think there's a pride that you should always have as a Major League Baseball player for the name that's on your chest. I mean, they are, at the end of the day, even if you boil it down to the fact that this is a job and that's your employer and your effort is being rewarded handsomely, then you should have pride in that uniform. And what he's saying is, hey, they're making him something really unique within the history of this organization. He's the highest paid player that's ever played in this organization, the longest term contract. So absolutely, he's going to take pride in that uniform. And the old saying, you play for the front of your jersey, not the back of the jersey. I think he actually believes that. I think that's one of the things that I think the Mets organization likes about him as a guy that they're going to invest in. And I think there's other guys that have fit that mold along the way. And he's just going to be the next face for a decade.
We spoke about, when we came on the air here, the importance of getting this deal done before the season began, to certainly not have the fans turn on him at all. And he said definitely had the fans in mind here. I want to embrace the fans. I want them to embrace me. We play for the fans. And I thought that was refreshing to hear from a player like Lindor.
I think there's a number of guys that have really sensed that. And if you go a season like they did last year where you play 60 games without any fans, and you can see that there's a very different feeling in the ballpark. There's a feeling that's different in the energy that you bring. And whether or not, to me, the fans are yelling at you because they're mad at you because you're beating their team and you're in a visiting ballpark, or your fans are standing with standing ovations because you did something great in theirs, it's all great, and that's what he's talking about, playing for the fans.
And he talked about the education of the fans here in New York City. Let's go back out right now and hear from the manager, Luis Rojas.
Well, Steve, you know, I was in bed. I was up. I was actually talking to my wife at the time, and when they made me aware of the news, I got really excited. I shared it with my wife. Obviously, right, immediately, and then I started texting some of the coaches. But yeah, it's exciting to know, you know, about the contract extension, about the commitment for many years. I mean, it's a winning player. You know, we've been able to see a lot of the things that he can bring to this organization. Just to see it, that he's going to be here for that period of time. Just can give you that sense of, you know, winning mentality, presence that you're going to have with just one guy. And I think a lot of guys can benefit from it. And we're looking forward to, you know, more guys to be around, you know, potentially, you know, that long.
You know, obviously this is a business, and the guys in the room understand that. And so, you know, whether or not a contract extension was agreed upon, you know, I doubt that would have changed the focus of the group. But that being said, when something like this does happen, is there an extra element of excitement and energy that gets injected into that room?
So yeah, we've had different talks, and I share this with everyone throughout the last couple of weeks. That I didn't think it was a distraction for the team. I didn't think it was anything that was taking away the focus that we needed for practice or our preparation towards the season and things like that. And actually, yesterday was the first time that I heard somebody mess with him earlier in the day. Like, hey, did you sign that or what? Like, you know, one of our players, I think it was Walker, that was like all over him about it, and made it a kind of like a joke. And he smiled, but nothing more than that. But this is, you know, I think the excitement of the team. Guys are, you know, you can see guys going around and saying congrats and joking around and different things like that. But I think it definitely boosts something, you know, not that it was making things different before, you know, but now you can see like a boost, like some type of an energy flow being around, knowing that, you know, the long-term commitment, like myself being this long in this organization, like it's exciting. You know, this kid is a great player, man, and we've seen it on and off the field. It's just, you know, a winning player.
Next question is from Tony DeComo.
Hey, Luis. In the relatively short time you've come to know Lindor, makes you confident not only obviously that he can be a $300 million player, but you mentioned off the field, sort of what makes you confident that he can embrace that responsibility of being that quote unquote face of the franchise, face of MLB type of guy?
Well, so I think he's a very, you know, outspoken person. Yes, on the field he is, and he does it, but also off the field. Like he will, you know, I think his influence, you know, a lot of guys here to upgrade their game and do things like that, or even the way we're gonna present ourselves out of the field. Like he's been in the middle of those decisions too. Like this is a guy that he's determined, you know, to win. Like that's all he talks about. He talks about winning and getting better and always it's always looking for opportunities and creates opportunities. So that's why, you know, when you talk about being the face, you know, of an organization, the face of baseball, you know, also a Latin player, you know, you can say a player that represents the Latinos too, and, you know, in his case as well. Like it's because of his personality. That should be natural for him, just because of all the things that he does with his demeanor, and it's consistent every day. You know, we were aware that there were negotiations. We were aware of everything, you know, that was happening throughout each day. And this guy was solid every day, just, you know, smiling, making guys better around him, bringing ideas and different things just to, you know, put the team in the best position to win and put the guys in the best position to keep growing and things like that. So that's why I think that should be, you know, it's going to be something natural if he's a face of, you know, the things that I mentioned, you know, the game, the franchise, you know, Latin America, you know, a lot of young players that look up to him, you know, and probably the whole world and things like that.
And also, unrelatedly, what is just your confidence level that you guys will be able to play a game on Saturday?
I'm pretty confident in it. I mean, we were ready to play tonight. You know, it's unfortunate. I mean, these are things that are still happening in the world, and I don't think to be honest with you, we didn't. It's not a surprise. I mean, we've been in I'm going to say situations like this since last year. You know, the health is the number one thing still. You know, in the world, like we're taking care of ourselves. You know, everyone's carrying their mask everywhere, and we're doing everything we need to do just to make sure that we're, you know, protecting each other. But we know that this is something that can happen. It's unfortunate that, you know, the Nationals are going through it. You know, I reach out to Dave just to make sure that, you know, things are contained there and you know, it's kept to the minimal. You know, what we can do right now is, you know, come here to the ballpark today and practice, get some pitchers to throw, get some guys to see some live pitching, come back tomorrow, practice, and be ready for Saturday. We're pretty optimistic that we're going to play Saturday, I guess.
Thank you.
Next question is from Veronica Contreras.
Hola, Luis.
Hola, Verónica.
Bueno, háblame de el hecho de que vienes preparándote, ¿no? Ya todo el mundo esperando el día de apertura, finalmente llega el día y te dicen, ¿sabes qué? No se puede jugar hoy. ¿Cómo afecta eso a la planificación?
Bueno, tú sabes, vamos a decir, una pequeña decepción, pero como este juego nos enseña y como la vida nos enseña, tú tienes inmediatamente que recuperarte y ver oportunidades cuando pasan cosas inesperadas, así. Y nosotros inmediatamente lo que hicimos fue elaborar un plan para venir a practicar hoy y tener a los muchachos lo más fresco posible. Mantuvimos todo a la misma hora, vinimos aquí, estamos ya practicando, están en el terreno mientras estoy aquí hablando con ustedes. Y nosotros nos estamos preparando para el sábado. Si las cosas no fueron hoy y ahora son para el sábado, nos vamos a preparar para el sábado. Mañana venimos y hacemos otras prácticas. O sea, son cosas que, vamos a decir, en el momento como que te sorprende un poquito la noticia, pero ya después de un par de segundos no te sorprende tanto, sino todo lo que tú estás ya en tracción, vamos a decir, para elaborar un plan para prepararte para lo que viene próximo.
Y háblame de saber que finalmente Francisco, que buscaba ese contrato a largo plazo, ya terminó, ya va a quedarse con los Mets por los próximos 11 años, la tranquilidad que es para él y para ti.
Bueno, yo quiero nuevamente expresar esto. Nosotros hemos estado tranquilos todo el tiempo. Yo no he notado nada diferente en ese muchacho. El muchacho ha sido sólido aquí con lo que ha traído a la organización. Ha traído una mentalidad ganadora, ha traído una muy buena energía, junto con otros muchachos que han llegado a la organización también, que fueron adquiridos en la temporada muerta y también en entrenamiento. Pero él ha sido consistente con su personalidad. Yo pienso que esto es todavía un plus, aparte de lo que él ha traído. Él está ahí bromeando bastante con los muchachos lo están felicitando e incluso se está haciendo, vamos a decir que otra forma más de camaradería con este nuevo contrato que tiene Francisco, sabiendo que lo va a dejar aquí por esa cantidad de tiempo, sabiendo que nosotros vamos a contar como organización con un pelotero como Francisco por esa cantidad de tiempo. Así que pienso que estamos en una muy buena posición. Los muchachos se sienten bastante bien de que él haya recibido ese contrato. Y bueno, ya ahora lo que nosotros tenemos que seguir en nuestra tarea, que es prepararnos para el primer día, aunque se movió un par de días, es seguir coger otros días de esa misma manera para llegar el sábado lo mejor preparado posible.
Next question is from Ken Davidoff.
Hey, Louis, just wondering, when did you first get word of these postponements? Mike Rizzo spoke yesterday about this. At that point, did you start to think, this might be an issue?
So yesterday, Ken, we found out about a positive, and we found out about some close contacts. We were aware that they were doing further tests. And, in the morning, we were just preparing the same just to go and play tonight. So this morning was when I got the call from Zach Scott, and he made me aware that there was a second positive. There were more close contacts, and they were going to postpone the game. And that immediately what we did was just take action and put together a workout that we could come in and the guys can practice and stay fresh. Get some pitchers to throw, get some guys to see some live pitching, and we might do some of the same tomorrow without the live pitching and getting the guys the rest so they can be available for Saturday. But what else you can do? It is unfortunate we didn't get to play, but at this time, our thoughts are over there that everyone is safe and is contained, like I expressed earlier.
And have you figured out your reshuffle pitching, or is that something once you know for sure you're playing Saturday, then you do that?
Yeah, after Jake, it changed things changed a little bit because I think I revealed that Jake was going to throw back on Tuesday. So that's now things have changed a little bit, knowing that we're going to play now a series of games in a row. I think that leads us to 5 days in a row, 6 days in a row, and then it's a day off, right? I think I'm right. So we'll reveal those, Saturday once again. But Jake and Stroman and Peterson, first 3 days.
Thanks, Lee.
Next question is Justin Toscano.
Hey, Louis, who are some of the guys you've got throwing today, throwing live today?
So we just had a bunch throwing sides. I was just there watching, so already looped through a side. I know Betances threw a side. Who else threw a side? Well, May threw a side. A bunch of them threw sides, and there were staggered times there. So there's 4 live EPs. I right now I don't know. I think Diaz is going to throw to hitters. He's the one guy that wants to face hitters. He loves facing hitters and wants to get in there. I think you guys are aware of that. He mentioned it last year that he likes to get in there. So it's Diaz plus 3. It's just I was out there for the sides. I had to come in and do the media with you guys. So I don't know who's left for the other 3. I know Familia threw a side too, but I'll reveal those. Probably let you guys know through a little later, maybe through Harold or something.
Right. Okay. And obviously, I know you guys understand like the risks and how safety is number one. But what's kind of the feeling in the clubhouse when you're so excited for opening day, the Lindor extension happens, it makes you maybe even more excited, and then this happens?
Well, I mean, things like that can have the potential to, like turn you off because, I mean, we were ready. We're very excited. Yesterday, we're sharing the excitement we have, with everyone just kept saying it and, how excited they were to get going today and going through the day. Some of the guys were saying, this is my first opening day that I'm playing a night game. And they were excited about that too. So, it's not happening. This game teaches us that, there's just a lot of uncertainties. And at the same time, what we've gone through since last year, I think that we're pretty open-minded that things like this can happen. So we're, right now we're it's our sympathies with the team on the other side, with the Nationals, that things are contained and everyone's safe. And then secondly, that we can play on Saturday. So we'll be ready. We're thank God we got the opportunity to come in and practice today, and we're going to be able to do the same tomorrow morning. Once again, we'll be ready for Saturday to go and play the Nationals.
Thank you.
Next question is from Disha Thoza.
Hey, Louis. Did you get to talk to Jake today? And if so, what was his reaction or thought process after learning opening day was delayed?
So he was the first person I called after I got the news. And he was pretty calm. I mean, Jake, he is pretty calm about it. And he was asking if we were going to play tomorrow or if we were going to play Saturday and what time it was. So, we didn't have immediate response, because I know there were some other things being talked. So I just prepped him immediately that I heard that we weren't going to play Friday. That's what I've heard immediately. So I told him we're not playing tomorrow. We'll be playing Saturday. I know it's scheduled for 4, but we'll wait on that. So his response was okay. He came in today, and I think he went and threw a touch and feel or something early, like at 2:30 or something like that. So he was okay about it.
And then you kind of touched on it, but the team hasn't played in a game since Monday. And if opening day is cleared for Saturday, that's a big layoff. So for you, after getting, used to the grind of the spring training schedule, is this sort of one step forward, 2 steps back, or how can you kind of take advantage of the situation?
No, I think we're in a good position still. The guys are excited. We've been practicing. We practiced yesterday and the day before. Not the entire group came in yesterday, but everyone's here today. We're going to get to do a little sim game, twin and sim game where, guys are going to get some live reads and things like that. Tomorrow we're going to practice. The guys are ready to go. I mean, there's no concern of where we're going to be at shape-wise for Saturday. So, knock on wood, we get to open the season that day, we'll be ready.
Thanks.
Next question is from Adam Kilgore from the Washington Post.
Luis, just to be clear, did you say the tentative plan is Saturday at 4?
Well, the time is that we heard that it was going to be either 4 or 1 p.m. now. So we're waiting on those last answer on what time the game's going to be on Saturday.
Yeah. Okay. And a little more broadly, you've talked a little bit about dealing with the virus over the past year and how it's just sort of part of the game now. What do you feel like baseball's role is, or could or should be, as far as the country struggling and trying to get back to normal?
Well, I think the goal here is, first of all, we got to take care of ourselves. We got to take care of our families. That's the number one goal that we have here in the baseball community. It's been stressed by MLB. We've had different meetings about it. They're monitoring our behavior, how we follow the protocol. So, every now and then we get emails, somebody's not wearing a mask during game. So they've been really strict with us following the protocol, make sure that we're healthy, throughout camp and now starting the season. So we want to be a model for that as we're, working and we're bringing baseball to our fan base, and we're bringing baseball to to America and to the world. So that's the number one goal is that is to be healthy and to have our families healthy and to promote, the protocols. I know we're a lot of teams already done it, but we're at the verge of knowing what the vaccination process is going to be. And that's another thing too, knowing that that's also going to be a choice for the players, like it is a choice for the population. So those things are included as well, are part of I'm going to say the process that this tends towards moving to the end of the goal line here. It's a part of baseball. It's a goal in baseball. So we feel in that responsibility, to setting the example and to make sure that we deliver, the game to our fan base in a health environment.
Next question is from Ed Coleman.
Hi, Louis. You've managed at a lot of levels over a long period of time. And I just wondered if you've ever seen a guy like Francisco come in and have the immediate impact that he has seemed to have had on this team.
No, this is a first for me. And we have a lot of leaders in the group, and I seen a lot of leaders at the minor league level that come in and they stand out in the group too, and they help the others as well get better. I had guys at the minor league levels come to my office and say, "Hey, can you talk to so and so? I think this can help him," and actually bring something to me that will give me an idea to help a player develop. So, and I had those natural leaders and everything, but and Francisco's rate, I think this is the best I've seen at this young age. Francisco is 27. And I hear stories not from him, but also from guys that play with him, that's just the way he is. Carlos Carrasco shared stories with me about how he was in Cleveland with his teammates, and he's the same thing. He came here and he's acting the same way. He just wants to get everyone better, and it's a winning mentality. And he's just not satisfied when something's not done right, and he brings it up. He's not scared. So those tough conversations, those conflicted conversations that he can have with his teammates, for him is nothing, because he knows that he's going to be able to lay out what the best plan of attack or the immediate plan of attack is to improve in certain areas. So it's something special that we're seeing, along with his tool set and everything. So definitely, this is a first for me, different.
Thanks.
Next question is from Mike Puma.
Louis, when you talked to DeGrom, did you or he mention at all that this would also line him up to pitch the home opener on top of the season opener?
Well, not with him, but with Jeremy Hefner, we talked about that he'll line him up with that. So yeah, I mean, as of now, we start Saturday. That's probably going to happen. He'll pitch on Thursday at home.
Okay, thank you.
Next question is from Gary Cohen.
Hey, Louis. You mentioned vaccines briefly before. Have you had conversations with all of your players about the vaccination process? And is it your impression that all or most of them intend to get the vaccine? And do you think having opening day pulled out from under them might change the minds of any of the holdouts?
Well, Gary, so yesterday was actually the first time I had a conversation with the group about that, and it was just because MLB sent the memo about the process. What we did as an organization is just share a survey that will let us know who's doing it. So that's why I have no feel of who's going to do it. What's the head count? But the survey is what the organization is going to gather, and to know what number we would need when it's available for us, and then we'll go and do it. But as far as like who's doing it, or a head count, or raise of hands, nothing like that we had going. It was just a survey sent to each person that they could just fill it out through their phones.
Is the organization actively encouraging the players to get vaccinated?
No, that they haven't really like encouraged them. We know that the protocol is there for it, so it's a voluntary decision, for them. So, what's there is for them to tell us if they're going to do it or not, and that way the organization is going to get that head count, to know what the supplies and everything they need for when we have it available for us. But we know that that's voluntary. Nobody's trying to influence what decision they're going to make about it. We know that's pretty open there for them, or as is for the population. So we'll have a head count or something at some point, but I know a survey was sent, so we know how many guys are going to do it.
Thank you.
Next question is from Dave Lennon.
Hey, Luis, I know in this COVID environment that you're ready to expect, postponements and those sort of things, because that's what happens. But when it's opening day, everybody's been waiting, 4+ months to actually play a real baseball again. So the magnitude is a lot bigger. When you saw the guys today and stuff, did you see a lot of visible disappointment? And were guys kind of like, dang, what a tough break for us.
Yeah, you're right, David. It's a special day. Opening day is a special day, and the excitement is, it's those first couple innings, and your heart is, just beating really fast, and it's just a special day, and then we're ready. We're excited to come in today and have our workout, everything, and so this morning we got the news. I think that it could be probably a little bit of a turnoff for everybody from my field, but as far as like coming in and seeing a physical this reaction, as far as like disappointed or something like that, I haven't seen any of the guys. They just went out there and they're doing their thing. So, and that's the other part that you said there in the question is like, in this times, like they just, I don't think it surprised them as much. I think it did by a small frame of time, but they were able to just, okay, let's just do what we need to do. And they're doing it out there. They're just getting ready for Saturday right now.
When did you get the call from Zach, Luis, that said that you weren't playing tonight? You know what time it was?
It was around 11, maybe 11-ish, somewhere around that. So yeah, our first bus here, it was somewhere past noon for the coaches and the performance staff, do the screening and all that. The players have to come in 5 hours before the game starts. So it was just in time for us to, I want to say, just have the communication thrown to the players that we're going to keep the buses at the same time and what type of workout we're going to do this afternoon. So everybody just like, okay, let's go and do our thing. So the timing worked out perfectly for the communication when he came out. Let's just say that with all in all.
Great. Thanks, Luis.
Luis, thank you very much for your time this afternoon.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks, E.
All right, so that is the manager of the New York Mets, Luis Rojas, talked about the disappointment. And again, for those who have not heard, tonight's game is not going to be played because of a positive COVID test in the Nationals organization, potentially a second positive test, and then the contract tracing that goes along with that. But the sting of that, and we heard the manager say right there is disappointment, no question about that. We're all disappointed about that. But the contract extension for Francisco Lindor takes a little bit of the sting out of this. And he said, when asked about the $341 million he's going to get, he said, I have 341 million reasons for me to go out and play the game the right way. But there is pressure and there is responsibility, Todd, that comes with that sort of a contract. How significant is that?
Well, I think he's already dealt with pressure. I think he's dealt with pressure of being one of the top guys at his position. He's in Cleveland is not New York as far as media goes, but they had a winning tradition there. He was the go-to guy there. He does play the game on the field as a winner. And I thought it was interesting to hear Luis Rojas, when he was asked about the signing, he said immediately comes in, the first thing he said to describe Lindor is he's a winning player. He didn't say he's a great player. He didn't talk about his tools. He talked about the fact that he brings a winning attitude in, and those tools absolutely then bring the attributes that create wins and can be infectious to the rest of the team. And I think that's what he's hoping for out of Lindor.
Let's welcome in right now Andy Martino, Steve Gelbs, and Anthony Recker. Fellas, good to see you all. Let's begin with you, Anthony. You were with the Indians for a while. You played with Francisco Lindor. Why do you think he's the type of player that demands and is worthy of this sort of a significant contract?
Well, we heard Rojas talk about it a little bit, and when he talked about the kind of leader he is, he comes in and he gives you not just a vocalization, but he does all the little things the right way. He's not afraid to use his voice. He does everything the right way, and that kind of model of consistency, of excellence, that's contagious around that clubhouse and that locker room. And that's what I was able to see in that short time I was with him in Cleveland. And he was so young at the time. That was his first full season playing baseball. He had some time the year prior, but that was the first year he was coming in and going to have a full season. And I could already see some of those things, plus that vibrancy that he brings that we all know and love. When you talk about all those things, plus what Todd was talking about, all the tools and everything else that he brings to the table, you combine all that and you get an absolute special player that this organization and Luis Rojas, and they're just so lucky and fortunate to have that coming in, and to have it now for 11 seasons is something special. And
we heard the manager say a short time ago there are young players around the world that really do look up to Francisco Lindor. Andy Martino, a short time ago, when we heard from Francisco Lindor, he talked about the dinner that he had with Steve Cohen last weekend down in Florida, said he enjoyed the chicken parm. But he also said he never drew a line in the sand when it came to the demands, the over $380 million he and his representatives had asked for. So when it was all said and done, how did this deal get done?
Yeah, Gary, I take him at his word on that. That's consistent with what I heard the whole time. It wasn't that Lindor and his agent drew a line in the sand. It was that for the longest time, they were refusing to come down. So the Mets had started around $300 million. They were told by the agent that's where they needed to be. Then they came up to $325. Lindor had been up around $400 the entire time. So as you get even into yesterday evening, talking to sources about this, it's like, if he's not going to come down, there's no negotiation here. There's no real way to see eye to eye and get this done. And there was quite a bit of pessimism over the last couple days that it would. And I said this on Baseball Night in New York last night, but if I were listening purely to the sources I was talking to, I would have said, this is not happening. This deal is not happening. The Mets will invest Steve Cohen's money in some other star player at some point down the line. But the reason that I couldn't get to this isn't happening is because of what we've finally seen. Like, everybody had too much to gain for it to not happen. So it ultimately went down last night, a few hours after we were on BNNY, was that the Mets reached out again to Lindor's people. And it was like, okay, how about 341? You can set that new precedent for shortstop, surpassing Fernando Tatis. And there's going to be some deferred money in there that takes the present day value back down to where the Mets are comfortable. It was a very easy compromise, a very easy negotiation. It's a pretty simple contract. There's not a lot of frills, not a lot of bonuses, not the kind of things that you have to spend days hammering out. It was like, what are the years? The dollars, no opt-outs, limited no trade. Okay, let's tell the media. It really was quick and simple like that.
No, that's the thing, Andy. I mean, I agree with you that for the entirety of this process, I just saw no way that it didn't get done. As the hours started ticking away last night, maybe all of us, I started to feel a little more pessimistic, but there was just no real reason for either side to not make this happen. And so ultimately, they did, and ultimately everything you hear playing out in the media doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is that the deal is done and both sides are thrilled, and they should be, because the Mets now have this energy going into this season where literally nothing seems to be hanging over the heads of this franchise, hanging over the heads of this room, and they can devote all the energy towards chasing down a championship with a guy like Francisco Lindor, who you've heard again today from Luis Rojas, is someone who brings so much more than just the skill level on the field. I say this time and time again, but the number one thing that stood out to me about spring training and about talking to a significant amount of guys in that clubhouse this spring was how much they talked about the off the field stuff with Lindor and the winning mentality, the way that he made sure that practices were done where the attention was paid to the little things. And so obviously we're going to see some exciting play from this guy. But I think you'll also see the impact in the little things, in the details throughout the entire roster. And that, at the end of the day, is going to be maybe close to as valuable for this franchise as anything else.
Well, Steve, as you said, Luis Rojas said a moment ago that he gives this team an incredible energy boost. He talked about the fact that when this news came down, it really was exciting. He also talked about the positive influence, and you mentioned that right there, Steve, the positive influence he has on the rest of his teammates. Todd, how much of an impact can that have on guys inside that clubhouse and then take that out onto the field?
Look, I think there's certain guys, and there's only been really a handful. I think there's guys that play with energy and can have some impact, but there's a very select few that are elite players that live up to the the value of their big deals, and their energy is sincere and can be followed by a group of guys. And I think he's one of those guys. At least he has been to this point in his career. I don't expect any reason to have that diminish. I think he's a guy that, Steve pointed it out, Luis Rojas pointed it out. He walked into spring training knowing that there's going to be a big spotlight on him coming to a city like New York with a team that's got a great young core of guys. And he didn't waste any time walking in and making sure that they understood he was a leader. And he's not going to be a guy that's overly vocal, but he is going to be a guy that says, hey, we need to play the game right. He talks about that a lot. He talks about his upbringing with his father and his father grinding it into him to play the game right, to have integrity. Those are things that you can follow as much as infectious personality on the field, because he does that and he has success doing it. Those are the kind of attributes you want in a player to follow, especially when you have a young team that's still impressionable.
Absolutely. Francisco Lindor is so many things. And I love hearing the things that Gelbs was saying about, how he can influence the clubhouse. And that's some of the things that I saw over there in Cleveland. You talk about the type of person he is. I didn't have a particularly personal relationship in Cleveland, but I would consider him someone that I knew fairly well enough that, when we introduced him months and months ago off the trade, it felt comfortable when I was talking to him, over this Zoom. And that's not something that you see from a lot of guys of his stature that have reached a certain level that, can look back and say, yeah, I spent time with this guy in spring training, but I'm friendly with him. Like, I know him. He's a good guy. Those are the types of qualities that you don't see in a whole lot of baseball players. When you see those kinds of things, you got to keep those guys around because they're so important in the clubhouse. They're so important to the rest of the team and to that organization moving forward, because that's how you create a culture in that clubhouse, and a winning one, a friendly one, that family culture. All these things are important when you talk about winning. He's coming from a Cleveland clubhouse that did a lot of winning in his time there, making the playoffs and doing really great things, getting to the World Series. This guy knows how to win, and he knows how to win with those small details that Steve was talking about. And that was one of the things that you could say this Mets team lacked last year. Well, he comes in, he writes some of those, small details where they found ways to lose. Now maybe they find ways to win, and they can have a profound impact on that win-loss record come September and October.
Yeah, intangible, such a huge part of the game. Again, this deal is a monumental one. Let's get a look here at the largest and richest deals in Major League Baseball history, and this is the third largest of all time. There's Mike Trout and then Mookie Betts, and there is Francisco Lindor. 10 years, $341 million, $1 million more than Fernando Tatis. He was asked about that, sort of a wry smile. Wouldn't really say he wanted to get more than Tatis, but it certainly does jump off the page right there. And Steve Gelbs, one of the other things that Francisco Lindor spoke about a short time ago was the guys who came before him, the Albert Pujols and Manny Machado and Carlos Beltrans, guys who have gotten those big contracts and have paved the way for guys like him, and the importance of that to him. So follow up on that a little bit and why that is so important to him. Andy?
Well, I think he just is.
Or Steve?
Andy?
Steve, go ahead, Steve.
Go ahead.
Well, sure. The point that Lindor was making there, Gary, is consistent with his stance as a leader in the Players Association. And clearly, he's had those conversations with Tony Clark and with other union leaders about the tradition that they're inheriting. And he spoke eloquently about that today, and he's done that a few other times where the public may see turning down $325 million, say, as greedy. And look, the public may have some valid points about why that can be off-putting, but from the context of baseball players continuing to push for what they're worth and for what they see as a fair piece of the pie that the owners have in this industry, they're reliant on guys from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, all the way on up to continue to set that bar higher and higher. So what Tatis did for Lindor, obviously, was to create a $340 million line. Now it's pushed up another million, and as Lindor said, he hopes guys like Trevor Story and Carlos Correa and Corey Seager and whoever else will end up getting more. And that's the way these guys look out for each other, and that's sort of the game within the game of this industry as a business, is that, yes, they play on separate teams, but ultimately they're in the same union, and financially they're thinking about each other, at least those that buy in to this whole concept.
Yeah, Francisco Lindor is getting a lot of money. I mean, there's no denying that. But one of the things that he said today, amongst the many things that really jumped out at me, he said, I can't wait to represent the organization, and Todd and I spoke about that a short time ago, and to bring championships, multiple, plural, championships to the city. And I think, yes, he's getting paid in a very big way. And Steve, I'll throw this out at you. But the need and the desire to win, I think that is going to resonate throughout this city, throughout the fan base. And why is that so important for him to make a declared statement like that?
It will resonate, and obviously why it's most important is that that's the only thing that anybody cares about, obviously. The money is fantastic for him personally, but all the fan base cares about, all the teammates care about is winning. And I think why it resonates is that it's genuine, and it goes back to what I was talking about earlier. Francisco Lindor cares about one thing, and that's winning. From day one, when he came to spring training, he preached that. It wasn't about individual statistics. It wasn't about, really anything. Any question you asked him, it always went back to winning. And again, any conversation you had with any of his teammates, with any of the coaches, with anybody in the front office, they were blown away by how much all of his focus was about victories and about winning championships and about thinking that way and really manifesting everything towards that. So, that's why it matters, but why it resonates again is because this is not something that he's just, paying everybody lip service. He's got the richest contract by a long shot in Mets history, but his goal, his full focus is still on winning and winning big and winning often.
Yeah, largest franchise contract, as you mentioned, by a long shot. David Wright was 8 years, $138 million. And for Francisco Lindor, 10 years, $341 million. Steve and Andy and Rec, want to thank you guys. I know you're coming up on baseball night in New York coming up in just a little bit. Todd, you as well. So that is going to wrap up our coverage right now of the Francisco Lindor extension, and it is a monumental one in the history of this organization. So once again, Baseball Night in New York coming up tonight at 6 o'clock, a special hour-long edition, 6 to 7. And so for all the fellas, I'm Gary Apple. We thank you for joining us. We say so long from Studio 41 here in New York City.